Hello, everyone, and welcome to this career discovery session. We are excited to have Bree Brooks with us today. Bree is the Human Resources Director at COC, which is Christian Opportunity Center, and we're going to learn a lot about her organization and opportunities that they have within their organization today. So before I turn it over to Bree and get started with some questions, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Amy Steinhook, and I work at DMACC as part of the work-based learning department there. So thank you for joining us for this session. And we're gonna look forward to this conversation with Bree today. So Bree, if you would just like to introduce yourself a little bit, give us, again, you can repeat your position and maybe tell us a little bit about how you got to COC.
Sure. So thank you for having me today. As Amy said, I'm Bree Brooks, and I'm the Human Resources Director here at Christian Opportunity Center. I have now been here, for 13 years. My husband, fiance at the time, is from Knoxville. And so he took a position with the VA. And so in kind of searching for a place that I would like to work, COC came on my radar. So I started in 2008 as the Human Resources Associate, and so kind of learned the HR department that way. For about 6 years, I did the program coordinator position, kind of like a social worker type position. And then the individual who had hired me initially called me just out of the blue one day and asked if I had any interest in returning to HR, so you're kind of thinking, in what capacity, what does that look like? And she said, well, I'm leaving, so my job will be open. And it was just a huge opportunity. And I was really excited to get back into HR, and I appreciated having the opportunity to work a little bit more closely with the people we support and understand programs and funding and all of that, because I think that it helps me relate to staff and COC's bigger picture when I know some of those intricate details. So that's kind of my story and how I came to COC and got to where I'm at. Still currently live in Knoxville with my husband. We have 2 kiddos and 2 puppies. So
very good. Thanks for sharing that, Bree. And then first question here, can you just tell our audience who is COC? What is COC? What do you do? What services do you offer? Just give us a brief overview of the organization.
So Christian Opportunity Center, we are an organization that supports adults with disabilities. And it's a varying level of disability. We just get to know somebody on a personal level. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What are things that they want to do? What are some things that maybe need to do? And we just empower them to be as independent and as active in their lives or community as they would like to be and as are able to be. So knowing that there's some level of disability there, we kind of meet them in the middle, help them do as much as they can on their own, and then be there to provide those supports as needed. So that's kind of our bigger picture. We have a variety of services. We have kind of 2 camps of those services. We have HCBS, which stands for Home and Community-Based Services. And then we have ICF, which stands for Intermediate Care Facility. So in the HCBS world, we have almost kind of a menu of services. So individuals that live in the community, maybe with us, maybe on their own. We can help them with their daily living skills. Some people, it could be they're super good cooks and do a nice job cleaning their apartment, but have some help, need some help with their budgeting. On the flip side of that, it could be several areas that somebody needs our help with, but our homes in the community-based realm, if they're with COC, they're just part of the community. You wouldn't know that it's a COC house unless it was pointed out to you. So typically in that setting, there's 3 to 4 roommates. We try for 4, but sometimes it's 3. that live together and are roommates and just live their lives there. And then we have staff to support with those extra areas. We have services called CBE, job coaching, where somebody can kind of learn about their interests, their skills, put that all together, practice applying for those types of jobs, practice what an interview would look like. And then if they're successful in securing that job, then we'll follow along for a little bit and help them just get to know the ins and outs of their job, help them kind of be that person to talk to their boss if something needs to be addressed, and just really helping them get settled into their position. And then we also have a program called Life Skills, and that is kind of life skills as it is named, but it's really kind of learning various things, community involvement, maybe things, projects you like to do, just all of that sort of thing. But it can't be in an instructional setting. So it's more so getting together with peers and doing that, accessing the library, learning, sometimes they have sessions on going out to eat. So practicing ordering, looking your waitress in the eyes or waiter in the eyes and saying what you would like and being able to budget and what you need to pay for and tip. So just things that help people be successful and active in their community, and they learn it by doing it. So then on the flip side, it's our intermediate care facility. We have a very similar approach in that we want them to be as independent as possible and to be involved in their community. To qualify for that level of care, though, somebody is going to have a level of disability that's considered severe and profound. So we know some of the ways that we're going to be supporting them are going to be more basic daily living skills. Sometimes it's going to be helping, with eating, using the restroom, getting up in the morning. Some individuals are going to be in a wheelchair, so mobility, that type of thing. Both camps are very rewarding and places that we see staff get a lot of good experience.
Great. Thank you for that. A couple follow-up questions, Bree. I know you have a location in Pella, but I also know you have locations elsewhere. What other communities are COC? Where are you?
Right, yeah. So in Pella, we have all of those services I described, all the HCBS services and ICF homes. That would be the same in Indianola. So we have a location in Indianola that provides all of those services as well. Then we have an office in Knoxville, Oskaloosa, and Des Moines. Those offices, though, are more HCBS, kind of the home and community-based settings. Des Moines is residential only, and then Oskaloosa is residential, and then those day services like finding a job, life skills, and then Knoxville is a little bit of a mix of both. So,
great. All right, that gives us a really good understanding, I think, of your organization and what you guys do. One of the things I want to talk about today is, because you are the director of HR, you are looking for employees
right.
and in need of some more people to join your team. So could we start off by just, again, kind of giving us an overview of the positions that you hire for and what those look like? Just give us a little background on that.
Sure. So the majority of the positions that we do hire for here at COC are going to be called direct support professionals. So it is that learning about a person, their needs. Everybody has a plan that they have been involved in, that their team has been involved in, and then they'll have some goals and areas of supports. So really our DSPs are the ones that are taking this goal, this information, and implementing it and helping the person on a day-to-day basis. What that could look like really varies on the person and what they need. So before, sometimes it's going out in the community and shopping. Sometimes it's planning and preparing a meal, budgeting, getting out in the community, all of those sorts of things. On the ICF side, as I kind of shared, sometimes it's those daily living skills. So often that kind of a position is attractive to somebody who's maybe looking to get into the nursing field. CNA is certainly not required to work here, but a lot of people who want to gain that type of experience are able to do that here. So it's just a good mix of, what somebody is interested in as far as their own career path, and seeing if we have something that kind of matches up with that. But a lot of great opportunities.
Yeah. So what are the educational requirements for those positions?
Right. So to start in a direct support professional position, we would just require a high school diploma or GED equivalent. There are positions after you've been here for a little while, or if you come to us with some experience, with some background education, that sort of thing, that you can go into that would have different requirements, like maybe being in management, or I mentioned I was a program coordinator for 6 years. That's kind of that social work degree that would require a bachelor's. So we do have some other areas where additional education or background would be needed, but just to start, honestly, it's that high school diploma or GED equivalent, and just being a compassionate person. The technicalities of the job we can train. So really somebody who has that heart for helping people and just wanting to be part of their success is what we really look for.
You kind of led me right into my next question, Bree, because I was gonna ask you what skills or personality traits that, not that they're required, but that you like to see in people that work at COC. You mentioned being compassionate, wanting to help people. Are there anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, compassion, kindness, respect for others. We do have, we have some programs, individuals that live there that might need, or might do better, I should say, with a staff that's got a little bit more laid back personality. Other people run on a pretty tight schedule, so they might need somebody who can help them stay on track with that schedule, a little bit more organized and staying on those types of things. So really, those are things that we can piece together when we meet somebody and know maybe this house would be a better fit. Or sometimes if personalities aren't necessarily jiving, we can look at moving somebody to a house where maybe they would gel a little bit more. But the basics are just that compassion, that kindness, willingness to help, and treat people well.
Sure. So walk us through, what would a day look like, a typical day? And maybe there's not a typical day, but if I were a direct support professional, what would my day look like?
Sure. So you definitely nailed it there with there's not really a typical day. When you're working with people, you've kind of learned that you have to expect the unexpected. Stuff is going to come up. But I would say, if you're working in a residential home, helping people get up in the morning. Some people that could really look like, hey, remember you got to be at work at 9, or life skills, and just providing those reminders and they can get going. Other people, it may be, going into their room and helping them. They have some mobility issues, helping them physically get up and out of the bed. Breakfast, some people are good with like cold cereal. Other people might want to make some eggs or something. So helping them get that done, probably passing some meds, and then just kind of backing into your day, knowing who is going where and at what time, and helping them get there and make sure they're dressed appropriately or appropriate to the weather, that sort of thing. So just really kind of getting people up and going. There are chunks of the day where maybe everybody's gone, and that's when staff can do a little of the house organization, maybe some cleaning or, activities organizing. If somebody's home, then it's kind of a fun opportunity to have a little one-on-one time. So that's where you kind of really bond with the person, being able to, do something that they like to do, and they're not having to necessarily compete for your attention because their housemates are doing other things. You could have a doctor's appointment that you're going to take somebody to and help them go to. Just things that we do in our own lives during the day, but just helping somebody going alongside with them. Typically then when people get home, there's a little bit of that period settling from what I did during the day, and now I'm home. They may have activities they like to go to. Obviously, COVID has, put a little wrench in that. But in a typical world, and sometimes they like to go to, if there's like a baseball game or Pella Thursday nights at the square, other communities have similar things. So what do you guys want to do? And then, of course, there'd be supper, probably some evening meds, could be bathing. Some people like to bathe in the morning. Some people like to bathe in the evening. Again, some people might just need reminders. It's a shower day. Other people may need, I'm clean, but can you just make sure I got the shampoo out of my hair? There's just such a wide range of ways we help people. But, I think if you can kind of picture your own day and your own life, it's essentially, they do the same thing. They just need that extra support in getting places or getting some of those things accomplished. So.
And Bree, I'm assuming, but maybe I'm making the wrong assumption, these positions are live-in. I mean, you're kind of the house mom, house dad, or do you, is that not correct?
That's a really good question. That depends on the program and the house. There are some positions that are set in a 24-hour model. So kind of like you described it, it's still their house. And so we're trying to promote them, but they maybe do all right with just having one staff to the four of them. And the staff would have a shift that rotates to where they would sleep there overnight. In that model, one perk people like, they're able to eat meals with them. So that is something that COC does provide. They're paid to sleep at night. And the work week then is really condensed. So it's a rotating schedule where you do like 2 24-hour shifts back to back for 48. And then often then you're done for the week. So you got your typical work week in a couple days. So they do a rotation where it's that 2 24-hour shifts back to back, week 1, week 2. Week 3, you would start off similar, your 2 24-hour shifts back to back, have a day off, do another shift of just 24 hours. So it's 72 that week, but still only 3 days. And then typically then they're off for about 7 days. So you're really condensing your work time and making overtime every single week. So it is an attractive model for people who have the ability to stay away from their home. We also recognize that doesn't fit for everybody. So we do have some 12-hour shifts, maybe more of a 6 to 6 or 7 to 7, whatever kind of works for the house. And again, that rotates a little bit. So you'd have like 3 days of work 1 week, 4 days the next. So you do still get a little more time to yourself. And then we also have your basic 8-hour shift model. Some of the positions that I talked about with the daytime, if you're job coaching or providing life skills, that might be more of a, day hours type thing. So, and then at the ICF, we do run on 8 and 12-hour shifts because that is just too much for somebody to take on in a 24-hour period, and the staffing ratio is bigger. So, or however you want to look at it, like 1 staff to 2 people or 3 people rather than all 4. So we, and in that setting, they cannot have any time where they're left unsupervised. So it's an awake overnight position. So we do have a mix of all of that to kind of answer your question.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. And this might be a hard question, but what is it like working with adults with disabilities? Or perhaps maybe what are some of the bigger challenges that you hear about and some of the wins and why?
Yeah, absolutely.
That job field.
Staff satisfaction surveys, working with people, the people we support here is always very popular. It's staff's favorite thing to do because we do attract people with that heart for disability or for people. And then when you have a disability, it can have a lot of just self-reward in your job and the fact that, I'm enhancing this person's life. I'm really helping them and helping them to achieve things that they maybe didn't think that they could. So it's very rewarding. What does that look like? Again, it just really depends on the person. Some people are pretty easygoing. I think sometimes staff maybe start off feeling a little nervous. Yeah, what is this going to look like? How are they going to react? A lot of people are just fun and they just want to connect with you, you know? So it's just providing that support, getting to know them, learning some of their likes, dislikes, something to connect on. Other people, some of the challenges might be if somebody's nonverbal and can't tell us what they want. And so they are using other ways to communicate. Sometimes learning that can present a challenge and can be frustrating for both staff and the person because they're, not understanding each other. So that can be a challenge. Sometimes some of the mobility things, helping people up, and we have lifts and all of those things in place, but often it's not something that staff, unless they have worked in a CNA type setting or may have never used that. So it's some new equipment that you're learning how to use and use properly. Sometimes, like I kind of talked about with frustrations, sometimes when you do have a limited ability to communicate what you want and need, or even understand what you want and need, that can be frustrating. And so at times we do have some difficult behaviors that we have to support the person through. And so we learn a lot about people, and we put programs in place and do training to help staff. If somebody is starting to feel stressed out, here are some things that they recognized in a calm moment, helps them to reset and feel better. And so sometimes, that information's there, but feeling the confidence to access it and start using this plan can sometimes be something that staff are a little nervous about at first. So yeah, those are some of the challenges. I would also say too, if you haven't worked in, like a nursing home or something like that, providing some of those personal cares, the first time you start doing some of that, bathing someone, some of those basic needs, that can just take a little bit to adjust to. You want to make sure that you're doing it right, doing it well, not hurting someone, so we do a lot of training there too, but some of these things, it's kind of, you just have to do them a few times before you get your own rhythm and comfort level. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you've given us a really good, look inside of these positions. So thank you for that. Switching gears just a little bit, and then we're probably going to wrap this up. I know there's probably some other types of positions more on the management side of things. Could you talk just briefly about other opportunities outside of that direct, care type of position that you have at COC?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something too that we're really proud of. We do like to promote from within. So somebody who maybe did start in a direct care role would certainly have some valuable experience that would be taken into consideration for some of the other positions. But we do have management at various levels. Most programs have an associate manager, so kind of your assistant, and then a program manager. So in that aspect, they're managing the homes potentially, or the program, the needs there, managing the staff, making sure that basic things, they're showing up on time, following policy, doing training, things like that. And then implementing the goals well. There's a lot of auditing. In order for us to get paid, we have to submit documentation and have to submit it in a certain way. So there's a lot of quality control as far as did I get what I needed here? Do I need to retrain staff what we're looking for with this goal, or what type of information they should be writing? So a lot of just management day-to-day tasks like that. There's program coordinator positions, kind of like a social worker. We've talked a little bit about the plan. The program coordinator is going to be the one that would write that plan. So they're asking these questions and putting all of that information together to write that plan and to put those goals in place. So they're really on that end of things, helping to secure funding, If somebody is struggling with one of their goals or just a tough time, they're going to lead those meetings with the whole team, bringing them together. What do we need to look at? Is there anything we need to change? How can we really help this person? And a lot of our kind of regulations and requirements they're keeping an eye on that and making sure that we're meeting those things. From there, we have upper management. We have that kind of oversee all of it and work together closely for the big picture type things. We have offices in all of the locations except Knoxville. Well, we have a Knoxville office, but it's drop-in only. But as far as like a front office running where we need assistance with some of those administrative tasks, we have that in all of our areas. So that's another way somebody can find, employment doing those sorts of things. Janitorial, we have repair specialist positions, all sorts of things that, make a company come together and run, and they're all hugely important to the mission of COC. They help us accomplish all of those things, but by and large, direct support is our largest area.
Okay.
So
the direct support would be your greatest need most of the time.
Most of the time. Nurses also, we have some nursing positions that are kind of fun. We have a lot of people in the ICF, maybe helping to monitor blood sugars, medications, if they were to have any sort of a catheter, the care of that, lots of staff questions, those sorts of things. Yeah.
Great.
Wide variety. Check out our website. It's all on there.
See, you just queued me up for my next question. So, and then we'll wrap up here. So if someone is interested in learning more, Bree, where should we direct them? And then also, are there opportunities for young people to maybe job shadow if they're interested in that?
Yep. So I would go to our website, which is christianopportunity.org. And all of the information, our open positions, and all of our contact information is right there. We also have a social media presence on Facebook, I think Twitter. That's not one of mine personally, so I don't understand that one well. But so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think they're looking at TikTok now. It's a little crazy, but anyways, we have a presence. And you're always welcome to contact us. Just even calling the main number and asking, can I speak with somebody in HR? Our email addresses are there. We're very happy to talk with somebody who's interested in a position here. As far as job shadowing, yes, that is something we can also look at. Depending, right now, obviously with COVID, some of those opportunities may look different than they have in the past, but we are certainly open to having somebody come in and learn a little more.
Fantastic. Well, Bree, this has been great just to learn more about COC and the services you offer and the positions that you're looking to fill. Really appreciate your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we sign off here?
No, just check us out. Come see us. We'd be happy to learn more about you and see if it would be a good fit.